What's up, y'all? It's your boy CEO back with another show. Welcome to the Late Show. Today we're gonna be reviewing Charlie Kirk's Assassin. We're gonna go into Iran war. I heard they sending missiles in the air. We're gonna cover Max Verstappen, F1 champion, and we also gonna be covering. What's up, y'all? It's your boy CEO back. We also gonna be covering. Sorry, that was my phone. We're also going to be covering Trump and his ballroom drama. Let me see what I got here. Let me see what I got for y'all right here. I got two CBS morning shows. Um, that's talking about this Charlie Kirk assassin. I'm gonna get that ready for you. Let me pull that up. Dude, definitely been tripping. Oh dang, I ain't add the sound of that. Hold on. Let me add the sound. How y'all doing this evening? Hey Roses, what's up, mama? I see you. Let me get this up right here. Hold on. Got to get the sound right. Wow, there we go. Nah, we don't want that. We want this. Then we want that. There we go. We're gonna see what's up. So yeah, we're gonna get into this new evidence for Charlie Kirk's assassination. He might have a strong defense. Um
We're following new developments in the case of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. Now, remember, Tyler Robinson is accused of killing the right-wing activist at a campus event last September. But now his lawyers claim the fatal bullet may not match the gun allegedly used in the crime. Carter Evans has that story.
It's been nearly 7 months since conservative political activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed during a Utah Valley University campus event on September 10th last year. Now, attorneys for Tyler Robinson, the man charged in Kirk's killing, are asking to delay his preliminary hearing to review.
You know what? When it happened, a lot of people made a lot of content. There were a lot of ballistic guys, independent guys that shoot high powered rifles. That was kind of confirming this information already. I mean, soon as the first release of the gun, first photo was released of the gun, it was shooters that was just coming out everywhere saying it don't match, it don't match. So to hear this now, it's like it's repackaged re-rock. I mean, if you've been following this story, you already know this information. This is not new information. It's just official information now because it's court documented. I mean, I'm gonna let it continue.
A mountain of material they say could help his defense. In a new court filing, the defense claims in an ATF report summary that the agency, quote, was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson.
Doesn't mean that those bullets aren't the same or that they aren't connected. It just means there isn't enough evidence there to come to a conclusion.
CBS News legal control.
Same thing happened to Tory Lanez. See where he at.
Contributor Jessica Levinson says this is not unusual.
It is sometimes difficult to match bullets that were recovered at autopsy with bullets that are associated with a defendant's gun. And that could be based on lack of evidence and lack of markings on those bullets.
Robinson has been charged with aggravated murder in Kirk's death. He has not yet entered a plea. Prosecutors intend to seek the death penalty.
Robinson hid the gun and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages.
Prosecutors allege Robinson admitted to killing Kirk in those text exchanges.
Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right?
I remember that information when they when the story first dropped, when the story first broke. I also remember them saying it was an old rifle. It was like his granddad's rifle that was old, something like that. And I don't it's no new information. I mean, all the gun people were saying that that bullet didn't match, even the trajectory of it and everything. I got another this report is from NBC. We're gonna see what they saying. I saw that CBS one earlier, but this will be my first time watching this NBC one. So let's see what they talking about. Let me get this right for y'all. There we go.
The attorneys for the man accused in the assassination of Charlie Kirk are asking a judge to delay an upcoming hearing set for May. Tyler Robinson's legal team says they need 6 months to review the massive amount of digital evidence in the case. And they also made a new claim in the filing, saying the ATF was unable to match the bullet fragment recovered from the autopsy to the rifle that Robinson allegedly.
They said they need 6 more months. Did I hear that right? They need 6 more months. What were they doing all this time?
Used in that attack. NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach joins us. Gary, the defense is asking now for a 6-month delay. So walk us through the evidence they have and the evidence they still say they need to review.
Yeah, you'll remember, Morgan, this was a widely documented event, both the shooting itself and the aftermath. Everybody had a phone out. They were taking video. They were taking photos. And now the FBI has collected all of that and is starting to hand it over to Tyler Robinson's defense team. And it includes 600 hours of video, 330 hours of audio, 600,000 files. So we're talking about a ton of evidence. They say, the defense team says, it's going to take about 60 days just to go through all of that and see exactly what they have and what they don't have. And there was a focus in a filing just the other day from Tyler Robinson's defense team on a part of an ATF summary report that they say they have obtained that says, quote, the ATF was unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied.
The crime scene was contaminated. The crime scene was contaminated. Y'all remember how fast they snatched him up and how people was walking all over the crime scene when it happened? Like, the crime scene was, if my memory served me right, I remember the crime scene being like totally clean within a week. They done reconstructed the floor. They had people walking through the crime scene, people removing cameras and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, there was a camera right above his head facing from the direction he supposedly got shot. So I don't know what's going on with that. Like that's I mean, they give us reasons not to trust them. I mean, I don't know what the FBI has been doing, what's taking so long with Charlie Kirk's situation. That should have been wrapped up. I mean, people on Twitter was doing analysis and trigonometry and all that other stuff that come with ballistics and excuse me, ballistics analytics and stuff like that. I mean, they need an additional 6 months. That's wild. That's wild. I mean, I think it was on Twitter. Twitter had it figured out like within like 3 days, 4 days, something like that. So I don't know what's taking so long with that. That was weird. But how y'all doing, man? Who's up in here? What you talking about, Rose? Government moves extremely slow. I see. They do move slow. I mean, 6 months. I thought they was all over this situation. I don't know why they need 6 months. That just seems a little strange to me. That just seems strange. Let's get into this next story. It seems like Trump is always running into some problems with his ballroom. All right. You know what I mean? Let's add this to the stage and get this right. Trump always running into some roadblocks with his privately funded fundraiser money ballroom.
All right, let's talk about that ballroom. A judge is temporarily blocking construction of the White House ballroom. Jake and Barbara are back with us. And also joining us, MS Now senior legal reporter Lisa Rubin. What happened?
The judge is saying, Katie, in a 3-page order just decided that the ballroom may not have any further construction done. They are preliminarily enjoined from taking any action in furtherance of the physical development of the proposed ballroom at the former site of the East Wing of the White House. And then he goes on to detail what exactly it is that the administration may not do to make it crystal clear that this applies to everything from excavation and foundation work to construction work. This is a judge who does not want to be circumvented by the White House, and that's why he's being as concrete as he is about what it is that they can't do. But I will also note that this order won't take effect for 14 days.
Can they build the place in 14 days?
Well, I don't know that they can build the place in 14 days, but I think what he is trying to do is also give the administration an opportunity to perhaps appeal this ruling. A preliminary injunction is, in fact, immediately appealable to the D.C. Circuit.
What would be the reason for stopping him from building this ballroom? Like, what is the legit reason that they're stopping him? I don't think he stays there. I think he stays in Mar-a-Lago. So what would be the reason they keep stopping him from finishing the ballroom that has zero tax dollars into it? You know what I'm saying? It's a historic building. I mean, I heard it's been upgraded before. You know, I heard it's been upgraded before. You know, I mean, he's making it more grand. Wouldn't we want a more grand White House? I don't see a problem with it. I mean, Obama put a basketball court in the basement, right? It was historic then, right? Not to this extent. I think, but not to this extent. But like, he's a real estate developer. He builds some beautiful buildings. You know, so it's not like it's out of his profession. If it's one thing he know how to do, is put some nice stuff in a building, for sure. Like, he's making a grand room that he's not going to be able to enjoy probably until the last year or the last 6 months of his term. I just think it's kind of petty. Let him finish. Let him finish. It's already torn down. Let him finish. And then, you know, y'all could do what y'all want with it after he's done. I just don't see what's the point of because who's paying for these judges these judges' court fees to keep blocking them? You understand what I'm saying? Like, who's paying for that? No. In the basement. But yeah, but like, to do construction in the basement, you gotta rip up something. You know what I mean? You gotta rip up something. You feel me? He's adding a ballroom on top. And then imagine that ballroom get there, what they could build under it. It could be like a legit, bigger, better fortress under there or something like that. You know how US like to do it. I just don't see why they keep stopping them. We didn't have to pay for it. He raised the money for it. Like, I think he should have it.
That may be what they're trying to do.
That's just my opinion, though, Rose. I think he should have it. What's good, brother? How you doing? Let me see. It's a federal building. I mean, hey, I think he cared more about federal buildings than anybody else, because you saw what they was doing to the federal buildings in LA and in New York. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even want the National Guard to protect them. So, hey, it is what it is. But that federal building, I think he should have complete jurisdiction over, because he occupies that building right now. That's his house right now. You feel me? That's his house. We got to give him the same graces and courtesies as every other president had, because he won. You feel me? And I think that's fair. He's treating it like his personal property. I mean, I think he's treating it like he's Trump, Rose. Like, for real. Like, like, everybody, I know everybody want him to have the same decorum as a president, but like, this guy has a big personality, and it's one thing we can honestly say about this man. He's honestly him. He's authentically himself. And it's not like we get in this new version of this guy. He's authentically himself. I just think he should have the right to build a grand, you know, it's going to be marble and gold. You just know it's going to be nice. I think it's going to be nice. You know what I mean? And it's not like federal buildings don't get their upgrades and whatnot. And I think the construction is in the same style of the White House, which is already a grand building. So
Time, the judge, Richard Leon, who's a senior judge in the D.C. Federal District Court, is saying that they need to file a status report within the next 3 weeks, apprising the court of their compliance. So he seems to both be allowing them an opportunity to appeal, but also warning them in the same breath, don't come back to me in 3 weeks and tell me all of the steps that you actually did take and the 2 weeks before this takes effect
Is this
to
the
ignore
sort
me.
of thing that goes to the
look at that. That looks nice. That looks nice. And that judge sound like he having a power trip. That judge said, come back with me in 2 weeks and check. Like, what's up? That looks nice. And you know the floor is going to be marble, the finest in the world. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, what Rose talking about? He running amok. He should be worried about these missiles. Yeah. I'm gonna get into that next. I'm gonna touch in on those strikes. That's coming up next.
Supreme Court?
I think it could ultimately go to the Supreme Court, particularly because what Judge Leon seems to be focused on is whether or not there is congressional involvement here. It's basically instructing the White House and all of the various defendants here, you may not go any further without express authorization from Congress.
Yeah.
Now, this is a Congress that doesn't stand up for itself very often, right?
Let's talk about that, because we got Jake Sherman, our man on Capitol Hill. Express authorization from Congress. Are they going to be
like, let me get off this, man. Yo, I think it's more important news they could be reporting on. I'm gonna just keep it all the way a beam. I think it's more important news they could be reporting on. Let me remove this off. You know what I'm saying? They could be reporting on anything else but Trump's ballroom right now. Look, she's having too much fun at her job. There's a war going on outside, and she is just chilling. You feel me? She is chilling, talking about a judge blocking him from doing his upgrades. That's wild to me. That's wild. Good evening, Cases and Cams. Good evening. Thanks for joining me. What you talking about, Rose? The judge is protecting the Constitution. Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, I know there's some presidents that did some upgrades. Like, why is his so unconstitutional? Like, you got to let me know, because I know this is your lane. So you got to let me know. You know, I'm willing to concede to anything you say, because I know, like, you are official. You feel me? So I'm not going to just like be push to the side what you're saying, my dear Rose. But bro getting a bad deal. Bad deal for sure. Which one is this? It's the Iran strikes. Yeah, this the Iran strikes. So next up, we're gonna be touching in on oh, that's the wrong banner. Hold on. I'm still getting used to this, y'all. Bear with me. I'm still getting used. Matter of fact, let me delete these. What, I don't need them. I don't need them anymore. That way they can just get up out of here. Which one is that? That's Trump's ballroom. Yeah, let me get rid of that. Yeah, that's easier to deal with. Yeah, so rumor has it, not even rumor has it, breaking news is Iran just put an airstrike on oil tanker off the coast of the UAE. And I think things is heating up, man. Because those was that oil is expensive right now.
A Kuwait oil tanker was the latest target in the fight over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran hit the loaded crude oil tanker off Dubai, setting it on fire. President Trump has threatened to strike Iran's energy plants if the strait.
Oh, they got permission from Congress. Congress ain't messing with them right now. You feel me? Congress ain't messing with them right now. At least half of them. at least half of Congress not messing with him. I think the Republicans signed off on it. I'm not sure, but he probably didn't get formal permission. But I feel you on that. I mean, look what they just did to him. I wouldn't want to play by the rules. They didn't play by the rules. Look what they just did to him. You got to keep in mind he's still a man. You feel me? But let's get to this Kuwait oil tanker, man, off Dubai.
It is not reopened. Though the president also suggested in a Truth Social post that he could abandon that effort and leave it to the allies. He then clarified his position in a CBS News interview. Let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, is the Strait of Hormuz still a priority for the president at this point?
It seems that it is decreasing as a priority, as both President Trump in this post and interview with Wei Zhejiang earlier today, as well as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, have suggested a path of ending this conflict in Iran without the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, even though this comes just days after President Trump announced that the April 6th deadline for Iran to reopen the strait before the U.S. attacks its energy sector. This morning, as you mentioned, the president ramped up his criticisms of NATO and European allies for not doing enough militarily with their own naval assets to reopen the strait.
Hold on, I'm a little confused because I thought Trump said he annihilated their army or their navy. So how they launching these missiles? You feel me? I thought they bombed the entrance to them caves. Would they miss some or something? Because I heard they spent like what 200 billion already. I think they spending like 12 billion a day or something like that. Anybody know the numbers on that we spending? Let me see how much are we spending on this war. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me see what we spending on this war. How much is the United States spending on these Airstrikes? The U.S. has spent an estimated $11 billion to over $12 billion on U.S. operations against Iran within the last 2 weeks of the conflict. Woo! They are spending nearly $1 billion per day. That is insane. $1 billion a day? A billy? That's what a B, a billy a day. 1 billion a day. They spending a B a day. A bit. Jesus. How much it costs to how much it costs to end homelessness? God damn. $1 billion a day? They've been at it all February, right? Nah, they've been at it all March. I think the first strike was they've been $1 billion a day. So they had 30 billion. They had 30 billion. A drop in the bucket. That is wild. $1 billion a day. $1 billion a day. A B a day. Yo. $1 billion, that's a big number. That's a huge number. A day? That is, where's this money coming from? I thought we were broke. What's going on?
He suggested that they should just take the strait themselves and said they have to start learning how to fight for themselves, and the U.S. won't be there to help them anymore.
Oh, he told he told Europe to take the strait themselves. We good? Trump out here moving like an instigator. This is crazy.
And then in an interview with our own colleague Weijia Zhang, the president said if European allies want oil from the Strait of Hormuz, that crucial choke point for at least 20% of the global oil supply, they can, quote, come up and grab it. He said Iran poses no threat to these countries on the strait now because the country has been decimated by U.S.-Israeli attacks.
Oh, so Trump like he cleared the way. Y'all come get it. Y'all come get it. I cleared the way. Y'all come get it. Y'all come get it. Nah. I ain't gotta, y'all come get it. We good over here. We good. It's a fire sale. Y'all come get it. Get some cojones.
That we do know they have underwater mines in the strait. And still, even if the strait is a lesser priority, the main goal of preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon remains for this administration. And the president told Weijia he is not quite ready yet to take U.S. assets out of the region. He said, while there's not much that has to be done between now and when he declares victory, he said,
is that oil in the water? That's like an oil spill in the water, right?
quote, we want to clean up some ends.
And Aaron, we have some developing news coming out of Iraq, where the foreign minister says an American journalist has been kidnapped. What do you know?
This is an American freelance journalist, Shelley Kittleson, who had been kidnapped in Baghdad. Kittleson was a freelance journalist for a Middle East-focused news outlet, Al Monitor. Her emergency contact, the CNN national security analyst, told CBS News that Kittleson had been warned by the U.S. government about a threat to her from the Iran-backed.
She ain't listen. She ain't listen. Y'all heard that? They said she was warned. She ain't listen.
Her emergency contact, the CNN national security analyst, told CBS News that Kittleson had been warned by the U.S. government about a threat to her.
She ain't listen, y'all. She ain't listen. She ain't see that Ben Affleck movie, man. She ain't listen. Wasteful spending. She ain't listen though, y'all. She ain't listen. She ain't listen, and she ended up kidnapped. We are broke. I feel you. You know, America's policy is we don't negotiate with terrorists, man. I don't know why Shorty was over there. Now she kidnapped.
From the Iran-backed terrorist group Kataib Hezbollah, which had been looking to kidnap or kill female journalists. In response,
oh no, I can't stream stuff like that. That's wild. Let's get back over here. I can't stream stuff like that. How you purposely looking to kidnap female journalists? What kind of sucker shit is that? Excuse my language. What kind of sucker stuff is that, bro? She was warned that it was a threat to her safety, and she didn't listen, bro. That's what getting me tight right now. She didn't listen, bro. She did not listen. Let's see what CNBC had to say, y'all. Jesus. Get this ready for y'all, man.
We begin with the latest on the war in the Middle East, where Iran continues to dig in and fight on in the face of calls from U.S. President Donald Trump to strike a peace deal, as Trump's Secretary of War again warned all military options remain on the table. Tehran turned once more to oil as a weapon of war, and it launched an airstrike on a tanker loaded with 2 million barrels of oil that was anchored off the port of Dubai in the Persian Gulf. Officials in Dubai say the vessel was set on fire, but the flames were later extinguished.
So they was able to save the boat.
Also say none of the crew members were hurt.
Oh, and no casualties, just some oil? This ain't news then. This ain't news then. Nobody died. That's the beautiful thing. Nobody died. I like that. Nobody died. We done with that. They wilding over there in the Middle East. You know, they've been warring my whole life. I thought we just signed like a peace in the Middle East situation over there. They had the dinner and the sign up and all that. Like, what happened? Y'all tell me what happened. What happened? Somebody reneged. That's what happened. Somebody reneged. Which one is this? Okay. Yo, so rumor has it, they said Pete been giving our boy Trump some bad intel. They say he not thinking things all the way through. He making 47 look bad out here in these streets. He making 47 look bad out here in these streets, man. Let's see what Fox talking about. Oh, my bad, y'all.
That were to happen, Iran gets a
My bad. Let me
ceasefire. It gets to
my
keep
bad, y'all. Let
this
me run that back
chokehold.
for y'all. My bad. My bad. They saying Trump might end the war without reopening the strait. I thought y'all heard that. Thanks to the chat. Shout out to the chat.
A new report says President Trump has told his aides that he's willing to end the war without reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Dan Buriet is with us. He's the former energy secretary under President Trump. Dan, do you believe that our president would end the war without reopening the strait? It sounds like he hasn't finished the job.
Well, good morning, Stuart. I find it hard to believe, to be honest. If this is part of the negotiating strategy, as the Secretary of War pointed out, to get the Europeans, to get the Asians, to get others involved to help us open the strait, then that's fine. I understand it. But if it is truly accurate, if the story, the Wall Street Journal story is accurate, then I think it's highly problematic that we would leave that area without opening this strait. I mean, you think about this logically. If that were to happen, Iran gets exactly what it wants. It gets a ceasefire. It gets to keep this chokehold. And it looks more like a timeout rather than a deal. We're simply going to push this issue into a future administration and into future economies. I think it's a very bad strategy if, in fact, that story is accurate.
Then, if it's accurate, and if we leave the strait closed, then presumably we're looking at $4 gas and $100 a barrel oil for a long time to come. Do you see any way around that?
No, there's no way around.
Nah, we don't need $4 a barrel, man. We don't need that. I remember, what year was it? It was 2012. Was it 2012? It was 2012, 2011. Yeah, I had a green Chevy Envoy XL. And gas was like $4.29 or something like that, man. Gas was crazy. I remember having to pay like $80 and $12 to fill up that damn truck, man. And I'm stubborn too. I'm not the type to like just put a quarter in a tank or put half in a tank. I gotta hear the gas click. You feel me? Because I'm gonna need it anyway. So I just might as well buy it while I'm there. And when I shop for gas, I try to get the lowest, the cheapest I could find. Keep it a buck with you. You feel me? We definitely don't need $4 gas right now, man. I can't. Shit, I just think about that shit. Just got me tight. Man, I'm having flashbacks of 2012. Ah, damn. $4 gas is not the wave. That's damn near a recession. You feel me? Hey, Red, what's up, Red? Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, it was $80. It was $80 to fill that thing up, and $2012. So that $80 now is like, do the inflation thing. You know what I'm saying? That's like $1.20. That's shit crazy. And it was on some every 3 days. I'm in New York, so it's like stop and go. So you just burning gas on idle. This shit is crazy. Let's see what's up though, man. We definitely don't need no
around that at this point, Stuart. And it's not just refined products and crude oil, as you point out.
Damn.
There are other products, I should say, that come.
And as soon as I press play, they show me 401. That's crazy.
Through that straight on a daily basis. Things like urea, fertilizer for our farmers, not only here in the United States, but all around the world. There are other products, helium, that's important for data centers and for the development of AI technologies. All of those things come through the strait. That's why I find it hard to believe that the ultimate strategy would be to leave the area and leave Iran with the ability to control that strait. I mean, if some have pointed out in other stories, I applaud what the president's done. I applaud what the administration's done in taking care of the nuclear issue, the weapon issue. But look, if we're going to leave the area and allow them to maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz, any country that controls 20% of the world's oil supply or oil flow maybe doesn't even need a nuclear weapon.
Damn. What we doing with Venezuela's oil? I thought we took that. Like, what's up with that? Where's that? What's going on with that? You feel me? They say Cuba's in shambles right now. They ain't got no power. I played the wrong video too, y'all. I was supposed to play this one right here from CNN with this thumbnail. But I'll get better. Next show will be better. I got to stop rushing these shows too, because I put this together in like 20 minutes before the show. I shouldn't have rushed this, but I just wanted to talk about it.
Straightening out the Strait of Hormuz is something Trump has clearly wanted to do, but it has proven to be quite complicated. CNN has new reporting on what Trump was not told before launching into this war, according to sources. In the lead up to the first bombs dropped on Iran February 28th, the president met with a small group of advisors to discuss options. The president made it clear he wanted to launch a military campaign alongside Israel, sources tell us. This sort of briefing would normally include likely economic fallout should Tehran retaliate by closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is eminently predictable. But, three sources tell our CNN defense team, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth not only validated Trump's idea to move forward, he downplayed risks, the sources said, of the conflict spiraling out of control. Nobody in the room during that critical meeting, we're told, emphasized the potential risks of starting.
Let's take us back to, I remember when he was getting approved or whatnot. They was like, he's not qualified for the job. That was the big story around this guy. He got the look, he got the talk. I mean, if this don't work out and we go into another recession, I mean, we was headed to a recession anyway. You know what I mean? We cannot deny that, right? But if this war don't work out and things don't get better, this guy's career might be over. That's just my opinion. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you should not be in control of the U.S. Army, bro. Straight up. Straight like that. And the one thing I don't want is boots on the ground. We don't need boots on the ground, bro. We were spending $1 billion a day all March. We don't need no boots on the ground.
Starting the war. And speaking of risks, today Secretary Hegseth was asked about reports that the U.S. is considering putting boots on the ground, service members on the ground. I
just said we don't need boots on the ground. He said we consider putting boots on the ground. Damn.
In Iran.
Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do.
Be unpredictable. This all comes as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff today.
Yo, it's funny how news cut it and won't let them finish. They just get that line and then cut it. Yo, CNN is funny and they don't care. He looking you dead in your face knowing he didn't let that man finish.
told the American people that the U.S. military has begun flying B-52 bombers over Iranian territory for the first time since the war began. This would suggest that Iran's air defenses have been quite significantly degraded. But the overall situation in the Middle East in general remains delicate, so delicate that the State Department today upped its shelter-in-place guidance for Americans in Saudi Arabia, adding this new warning, saying, quote, "We are tracking reports of threats against locations where American citizens gather."
If you're American, now is not the time to be in the Middle East if you're not on one of the oil rigs. And then, damn, it's not even the time to be doing that right now. Damn, but it got to get done, right? Damn, that's shelter in place.
We advise
hope they listen. They won't get kidnapped like our last shorty over there.
U.S. citizens that hotels and other gathering points, including U.S. businesses and U.S. educational institutions, may be potential targets, unquote. How concerning is it that our CNN is reporting that ahead of the war, according to sources, no officials seem to give Trump a realistic rundown of potential worst-case scenario risks?
Well, it's very concerning. I'm surprised that if the chairman was in the room, you know, again, I've known Chairman Kaine for decades now, and you know, the military senior advisor to the president is responsible for laying out options and laying out the risks to each one of those options. And as it's been reported extensively, the holding the Strait of Hormuz at risk by Iran in any type of action against Iran has always been part of the core analysis in terms of threats to any type of operation. So I'd be surprised if the military did, and I can't speak for, you know, Secretary Hegseth or whoever else was in the room, though.
Let's do a good news, bad news from the war front. Good news, B-52s are now flying over Iran. What is that?
I think the B-52s is the stealth bombers. Hold on, let me see. Let me look that up, y'all. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. B-52. No, that's not the stealth bomber. That's just the heavy bomber. Yeah, that's a B-52. Damn. I wonder how much that's costing.
That suggests to you?
Well, it certainly reinforces air supremacy. I mean, there's obviously no stealth to a B-52, you know, flying over enemy airspace. And then the other thing that I caught very interesting today when the chairman was briefing was the number of dynamic targets that are taking place each, you know, each air tasking order cycle or each 24-hour period. That definitely tells me that the long target list that CENTCOM has been working against since the outset of the campaign on 27, 28 February, it's not exhaustive because they are doing a lot of reattacks, but they are getting opportunities to go after, you know, actual launch locations as they find them through real-time intelligence. So that was pretty telling to me as I was listening to the briefing today.
Interesting. So that's the good news. Here's the bad news. Spain, France, Italy are now putting serious restrictions on the ability of the U.S. to use their bases, to use their airspace. What do you make of that?
That mean they don't fuck with us. That's what that mean. They mean they don't fuck with us. You feel me? That's exactly what that mean. We can't use their airspace. We can't fly over real quick. That's what that mean. If World War III was to start, it's going to look crazy. It's not going to look anything like the history books. You feel me?
Well, none of that's helpful, obviously. And the fracture that's taken place, you know, with the NATO alliance and just our European, you know, partners writ large is concerning. You know, we didn't communicate to the degree that we have done in previous combat operations or long-standing conflicts before going into them with our allies. And I think this is you know, a result of that. We certainly need to have basing opportunity, or not opportunities, but basing locations. It helps with really the agility and the geometry as you build a military campaign. So none of that is helpful, and it makes, you know, frankly, the job a lot more difficult, and it puts aircraft that we could otherwise put on the European continent at risk, having them in Saudi Arabia like we saw over last weekend when those were struck by ballistic missiles from Tehran.
It now seems quite possible from Wall Street Journal reporting and from President Trump's own public statements that the U.S. might look at the fact that the missile program has been destroyed. Many of the missiles have been destroyed. The Iranian Navy has been destroyed. The Iranian Air Force severely degraded. The regime in shambles, and say, okay, we're done. Declare.
Okay, well, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. I still don't justify no goddamn $4 gas, bro. That's real, bro. Just don't want no $4 gas, man. Yeah, I don't know what's been up with StreamYard, bro, but like, I'm not frozen anymore. Am I still frozen? Am I still frozen, or is it just when I share screen? It's crazy. I never froze when I didn't have premium. I got premium, I started freezing. That's what's wild to me. That's what's wild to me. But yeah, we're gonna pivot into something different. I'm a big F1 fan. I'm a big Red Bull fan, of course, Max Verstappen. Hold on, let me delete these lower thirds I don't need real quick, y'all. You feel me? Whoa. Not that one, my buddy. But yeah, man, they saying my boy Max. They telling me my boy Max might retire, man. They telling me my boy Max might retire. I hope it ain't so. I hope it ain't so. But they telling me one of the most dominant, like when you look up lock in the dictionary, you should see this guy, right? Max know how to lock in, and he got that killer instinct in the F1 car, in any car, actually. Because if you're in the F1 and you watch him drive, this guy is like the guy. And now with the new regulations, he's not having fun anymore. So he's thinking about walking away from the game, from the sport, rather. Let's see. Let's get into that.
Max Verstappen is closer than ever to walking away from F1 and says the next few weeks and months will decide his immediate future, which could even include taking a year away from F1. The prospect of Verstappen quitting F1, or at least pausing his Grand Prix racing career, has grown since the introduction of new rules in 2026.
No, it's not no, Rose. Oh, no. He is not a sore loser. Like, every year they change regulations in F1. It's always like a down year. But when he say it's not fun driving some of the most fastest cars in the world, it's like, I think I might believe him. It might not be fun, man. Or maybe Ford just built him a bad car, a bad power unit. Because I don't know if you know, this year in 2026, the regulations is 50-50. So it's 50% combustion engine, 50% battery, right? And then what's happening is when you're watching it, everybody is slowing down on the straight so they could recharge their battery to have boost in the corners. You feel me? And it's killing the sport. Like, personally, I like the sounds of the V10s because I'm old. We old, right? But the V8 sounded good as well. And, Max was dominating the hybrid era, at least on the back end. So it's like, if he's not having fun and he got snubbed last year, like, it's time to walk away. He has been saying he want to spend more time with family. You know what I'm saying? He want to spend more time with family. And he's like, he's having his, I guess, epiphany moment, right? I saw an interview a couple days ago. He was like, he enjoys spending time with family a lot more. And it don't matter if he got 10 trophies, 10 trophies. It's not going to matter in 20 years. So he's just tired of the sport. If he's not having fun, I would suggest he walk away, but I don't want to see him go. You know what I mean? Because I even thought last year he was going to switch teams to Mercedes. That was a rumor. You feel me? I'm teasing him. Okay. Oh, y'all just playing with me. All right. I see what's going on. Let me play my video.
That Verstappen has publicly loathed. But that stepped up a notch as Verstappen admitted he has a choice to make about staying in F1 several times during the Japanese Grand Prix weekend. Most overtly in a post-race interview with BBC Sport, in which he was directly asked whether he could walk away at the end of the season. That's what I'm saying, Verstappen replied. I'm thinking about everything inside this paddock. It is no coincidence that Dutch media very close to the Verstappen camp also began reporting on Sunday night that he is seriously considering walking away from F1. Everything, not least Verstappen's own comments doubling down on a situation on Sunday night, really does indicate the Red Bull driver is closer than ever to quitting F1. In Japan, the narrative went well beyond having to read between the lines or interpret his usually resigned body language after qualifying. Suzuka marked a sudden shift from...
And Suzuka is a fun track. To me, you got Suzuka and you got Abu Dhabi, but Abu Dhabi is usually the last race of the season, right? Abu Dhabi is a fun track. If you're not having fun at Suzuka, I know you saw. Let me show y'all this, man.
Subtle suggestions, usually resigned body.
Look at these series of chicanes after the U-turn, right? So you got the curve right here, right? Y'all can see my mouse. I don't know. I don't think it's big enough. But after this straight, after you start, you got the turn 1, turn 2, and then you got this series of chicanes into the thing. This is a legendary curve right here. Oh man, listen.
Body language after qualifying. Suzuka marked a sudden shift from subtle suggestions to much more overt remarks. Verstappen's father Jos warned in an interview that he fears his son will lose motivation to continue. Max Verstappen then moved the needle on Saturday when he publicly admitted for the first time he needs to figure out his future and was considering life here in F1. And his subsequent post-race admissions that he was weighing up whether it was worth it, openly discussed the arguments against continuing, and implied in multiple interviews that he must find ways to encourage himself. After being asked for probably the 1000th time about...
Y'all got to keep in mind too, last year Max Verstappen won Driver of the Year and he didn't win the championship. That's the first time that ever happened where the champion didn't win Driver of the Year, because this man can drive, man. He was losing half the season. Second half the season, legendary stuff, man. Legendary stuff. I know y'all was tired of me on Instagram posting all that F1 stuff.
His motivation post-race, Verstappen's head briefly dropped, and when the Japanese journalist who asked the question apologized, Verstappen replied, "No, it's a valid question. Every day I wake up, I convince myself again, and I try." Verstappen is under contract with Red Bull until the end of 2028. But there is no scenario in which he will continue racing in F1 to that time if he decides he does not want to. It will not come to a contract buyout.
Well, he about to say it too.
Though Verstappen has exit clauses in his contract that give him an out based on Red Bull's competitiveness.
See? When you're the great, you can have clause like that in your contract. That's a good contract to have, man. I don't want to see him go. I want him to learn the car, because I think in 2031 they're gonna go back to the V8 because the fans want it. Hopefully the FIA does it. Damn, I don't want to see Max go, bro.
This was the center.
It's like watching Kobe retire or Jordan retire for the first time or something. Like, y'all had to be there.
Of speculation last year around a possible Verstappen switch to Mercedes. Then Verstappen could have left if he was not in the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship by the summer break. For 2026 though, this is understood to be different. If Verstappen is not in the top 2 by that point, he can leave. Verstappen is currently 9th in the Drivers' Championship with just 12 points, 51 behind second in the standings George Russell. Defeated by an Alpine at Suzuka, Red Bull...
I don't know. He got beat by Alpine at Suzuka. This is like Nicki Minaj dunking on Prime Shack. That's how bad this is. You feel me? Y'all see this pink car? That's an Alpine. They don't win. You feel me? He lost. This is Max Verstappen right here. You feel me? He lost to an Alpine. That's like Nicki Minaj dunking on Shaq. Oh, that's embarrassing.
And Verstappen spent a second consecutive race weekend firmly in F1's midfield. Worse still, Red Bull's drivers don't think the team has a clear direction out of the current problem. Verstappen's not sure a new upgrade package introduced on his car worked either. Teammate Isaac Hadjar was withering in his assessment of the chassis, calling it terrible and warning, "We have no lead on how we can make the car faster." He even went as far to call the RB22 dangerous after the race. So given the extent of Red Bull's struggles with its car and adapting to running its own engine for the first time, it is extremely likely Verstappen will have a clear contractual route to leave Red Bull this year. Furthermore, it is understood Verstappen does not need to notify Red Bull of his decision until October, so he also has plenty of time to see what changes, not just in Red Bull's competitive situation, but with F1's new rule set. Verstappen does not enjoy the near 50-50 split between internal combustion engine and electrical power that is...
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. It makes no sense. It makes no sense because on the straight, this means on the straight, he got to slow down to charge the battery. Who wants to go slow on the straight? That's like, y'all know in Atlanta, when you on 85, 75, and you in a lane away from the HOV lane and you doing 65. You know you're going to get the horns. You feel me? That's what that feels like. That 50-50 split. You feel me? It just makes no sense. It's like you can't push the car to the max because you'll drain the battery, but the strategy is maintain the battery, but you're going to end up with slower lap times. It makes no sense. These are supposed to be the fastest cars in the world, bro. They shouldn't be playing chess while they going 200 miles an hour, if they even get to 200 miles an hour.
Key to the new rules and the demand on energy management it has created. He has made regular criticisms about this, like calling the speed differences triggered by different battery states in F1 a mushroom.
That is so disrespectful, Rose. I think I'm gonna give you silent treatment. That is so disrespectful. Leave Max alone, bro. Leave Max alone, man. It's my champion. It's my champion.
On Sunday in a reference to the Mario Kart game that has become a favoured mocking comparison of choice. There is an acknowledgement among F1 stakeholders that qualifying in particular needs addressing, as there are too many high-speed corners being compromised by the need to charge the battery, and moments like the car slowing down significantly at the end of the lap at Suzuka, which world champion Lando Norris said hurts your soul in the car, are also underwhelming to watch. The division comes over how big a change is needed. The rulemakers hope that this generation of car and engine can be refined rather than overhauled, but Verstappen's much publicized belief is that F1 needs to reverse out of this switch to greater electrification entirely. While this year is all about what can be adjusted within the rules and more importantly the physical engines manufacturers have already designed and built, Verstappen hopes that a bigger set of changes will be tabled for 2027. F1's argument...
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a little bit different now because, you know, the new rules and whatnot. That 50-50 split for the power unit is just like, it's messing everybody up. Everybody is like, you know who's winning right now? The young dudes. I'm not going to even hold you. Lewis Hamilton is in the top 5 right now. I think Lewis Hamilton finished in 4th place. Yeah, he finished in 4th place his last race. You know, Mercedes is killing it right now. I think Mercedes got a driver here. I think he's 21? No, 19. He's in between 19 and 21. That's really young, bro. They it's like watching one of these young boys play Fortnite and they build the whole house in like 6 seconds. Like, how did you do that? You feel me? I don't know. But yo, that's the show, man. I think I'm about to hold on. I got like couple more seconds before I make an hour. I want to get an hour in real quick. I'm a better pace myself, so I'm gonna get better. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that was in here. I see you, Red. Rose, I don't even know. I shouldn't even acknowledge you right now, but I am, because it's love. You heard. Everybody on the vertical side, yo, like the video, come over to the horizontal side. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep the chat, you know what I mean, going and whatnot. But like the video, subscribe if you liking the content, man. All right, I'm out, y'all. Word.